Good morning. So, yeah, again, this is the second VOD review I'm doing today. Oh baby, of of y'all at Feign Academy support line. I just did one for Kaiju, but I guess it works for both of you since it's mostly about positioning and awareness and maximizing your characters a little bit by playing Brig and Lucio and the AoE healers. Um, this one's going to be more about Pebs and off supporting and playing Ana, playing your Zen and stuff like that, or being a flex support, um, doing those sort of heroes. So, being a flex support player myself, I can speak a lot to this role. It's super fun. It's a bit demanding, but yes. So, before we begin, I want to just preface this by saying again, super glad to be working with you guys again. Today's a big day for me actually because in 2 hours and 2 hours and 19 minutes, I will start a camp with Topaz that is for improvement with the Philadelphia Fusion staff and coaching. So we're going to be playing a lot of Overwatch this week. Um, let's check out Hollywood because this is a map I did with Kaiju first with you. So, Zenyatta is a great hero, a great flex support. Now, I just want to clear things up. Basically, the player roles, like if you generally play Ana, you play Zen, you play maybe even more. You can flex to BAP, all these other healers and stuff like that. You're a flex support. But if you prefer more of the like main support type heroes, you generally prefer Lucio, Brig, Mercy, maybe even a little bit of BAP as well. Um, basically those guys. Brigitte as well, if I didn't say that. But yeah, basically all that this means is those terms just reflect hero pools and stuff like that, or who you play. So as an off support, it's crazy. It's crazy because off supports are very mechanically demanding, and what this means is you must have big brain and you must have good aim. That's generally the expectation, or not the expectation, but what will lead to your biggest success is having some good game sense as an off support, and really working as a member of your team to help win fights and turn fights. So you might think of your ability as Ana to anti-nade people, which is really huge, or Zen's Discord, literally changing your team's focus on a specific target because you pressed E. Like there's a lot. Also, you got keys? What? Wait, he's got keys and he's got like shackles on. So he broke the shackles. Couldn't he have unlocked them with the keys? Anyway. So off support is a lot about maximizing your own effectiveness by positioning, by especially positioning, and making smart rotations in the fight, while also providing impact. So trying to land your nades, landing key sleep darts and things like this. It's just the whole gamut. It might sound intimidating, and I totally understand that because I mean, really every role in Overwatch is intimidating. You think about it, but like for the next 3 minutes and 58 seconds, you're fighting for your life against a robo ninja, hyper intelligent animals, like a mad scientist, time traveling. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of weird situations going on here. So, one thing that's really important, like we said, is communication. Because you're a support, information carries you guys, or you carry the team with a lot of information and making decisions based off of that. So, I know that we unfortunately don't stay Zen for long. We have to switch to Ana because they're diving. At this point, we should have called that a dive as incoming, and I like your position. You're staying next to this mini health pack that sort of automatically you can self-peel, as the kids say, because our Baptiste is looking up here. ready to keep doing this. One slight gripe I have is charging volley. Actually, I think I overheard you the other night saying that sometimes it's tough to focus in this game, and I completely agree with you. Because there's so much happening, even in the still frame. So I want to introduce you to sort of the cycle of Zen, and breaking down characters to sort of cycles. So if I had to think about it, my cycle on Zen is generally making sure Harmony Orb is on somebody. So Harmony Orb is on somebody. Check. Let's see, let's make sure Discord Orb is on somebody. Probably check. If not, well, I can either search to put Discord on somebody, or I can just shoot some orbs down an angle and try and hurt somebody a little bit. So try and look for the enemy either with Discord or with your normal orbs. After we find the enemy, we can Discord them and either try and kill them or rotate and look for the people who are going to try and kill us. This is generally the cycle of Zen. So right now we have Harmony and Discord on somebody, so we're trying to get a kill. Or trying to look for the people who can kill us. So, unlucky. Now we switch to the Ana. So, they're still running the dive comp, and if you press tab, you can check it. So, positioning is going to be really, really important as Ana into a dive comp, and Kaiju should be with you. Kaiju and at least a couple others should be ready to peel for you because you're their main source of healing. So, you saw Tracer back there. You should always be, so like, sort of, I guess, the cycle of Ana is trying to get to a position where you can heal your team a lot. And I think this position is a pretty decent one so far. But you're vulnerable to the flank. Just because you haven't seen somebody somewhere doesn't mean that they aren't there. So you should always be physically checking around, moving yourself around and looking here, 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 watch angles, check around for a long time, because unfortunately right now you really are the back line. Like, there's nobody further back than you, so nobody can spot flanks or hear them as easily as you. That said, I really recommend boosting your game audio so you hear footsteps and audio cues. You can hear the Tracer there.
Watching your back.
Yeah, this is a pretty good sightline to watch. You heard Tracer, no recall, and she's on the left side. There's no need to use the nade there like that. So, off support is crazy, like I said, mechanically demanding. And that means it's very sort of hand-eye intensive sort of role. But you also want to consider, very basically right now, like when we want to use our nade. So like, when do you want to use your nade generally? And you can take a moment to think about it, like even pause the video at this point. But generally, you want to use nade to either enhance healing on your team, but anti-nade, or denying enemies from healing, is a really, really, really major ability, sort of. And I am trying to improve my honor right now, and I've been told by many people that it's a lot better to look for anti-nades instead of solely looking for healing nades. So I subscribe to that belief. You can definitely just left click people up, so just do your normal healing shots to keep people up. And anti, ooh, like that was a good sleep right there. And now you can throw in anti. Do we? I guess no need, he died fast anyway. There you go, to even self peel for yourself. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So right now, you provided pretty good impact on the fight. Things are still just a little bit crazy because some guy just ulted and there's still people front. So what do we need to do now? Well, we're in a pretty uncomfortable position for us, I think. I think we want to stay in longer lanes down here where we can see our team and safely retreat back sort of to either this mini or something like that. Let's see. So yeah, something I also want to introduce to you is like because it's hard to focus, like a big part of your um, Ana gameplay is gonna be scouting or trying to find people who will kill you. And the easiest way to do that is by being a chameleon, I like to call it. Because so often on Ana, do I find myself just so focused on my crosshairs. And I'm always checking around with my crosshairs here, there, but I'm like only really looking at my crosshair. Which I guess is a good thing. I mean, it is a shooter game, right? But remember the fact that you have a whole screen's worth of space. This is your field of vision. So you can, like, so center your eyes on the crosshair. Now look up towards, like, where it says, like, contested right now. Look to your left at your Junkrat. You can physically move your eyes and your head without having to move your player model, which is really, really useful. So you can use this to even, like, if I want to check, like, is anybody on the flank here? Well, I can back up and while still keeping an eye, like, on my team here. Well, I don't see anybody behind right now. I know Kaiju's there with me, so I'm pretty good to stay here. And I see that there's stuff going on in front. I don't need to see what's going on or what specifically is happening. I only care that something is happening down main, because that's where my attention will have to shift, and then I'll have to find a way to, like, looks like they're setting up for a dive. Where can I position myself so that I won't get dived so easily? So let's watch from your POV stuff. Monkey gets close, you anti him, nice job. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do to save Panda there. Let's see, we're standing still. You should always try to be moving, just to make it less easy for the enemies to hit you or do things like that. And just because, like, right now, like, you're in front of Ryan Shield. No, not so much, but there you go. See, like, repositioning and rotating is a really, really important part of playing your role. See, unfortunately, the tanks got hung out main. We checked inside to try and look for an anti, but we should be focusing on trying to get our tanks out if at all possible. Probably not though, so don't sweat it too much. Nice sleep. Let's see, so we're getting our nano. Who are we gonna want to nano here, and probably when? Well, depends on what we need. We could nano Reinhardt, and that's a pretty solid strategy usually. Nanoing Zarya to build her ult is really effective as well. Junkrat too, he does a lot of damage. Brig as well is pretty good too, so you got a lot of people you can nano. Basically, because there's no set combo for you to nano, like no nano blade, no nothing like this or that or something, whatchamacallit, you can nano sort of to save people if you absolutely need to. Because remember that nano actually does have, like, it heals you, I think 300 or 200 health before, or like as soon as the boost is applied, so it's really useful.
It's high tide.
So let's see. Yeah, there's no reason really to walk so far out here, but you're probably going to end up positioning probably around either these dumpsters or jail here. Let's see. Nice sleep on the ball. Let's see. So you've committed all of your cooldowns onto ball, both sleep dart and anti. But I think the front line could use that here to close this out, potentially. Or just to pressure the Genji. So yeah, I think nading on the ground near Genji would really help out not only your Brig, but just your whole team a lot more than nading the ball that probably no one's going to kill anyway. So Ball's an annoying hero because he exists as an annoyance. And you can sleep him and you can land all the stuns and stuff like that, but somehow he'll usually still get out. It's because not everybody can look at him at a time, so it's no problem. We could just invest our things elsewhere. So we nano Brig, but the fight is pretty much already won. Splash should probably be calling that this is a big shatter, and we can see that we have not only our Junkrat, but our Zarya and our Ryan swinging into it, so they probably don't want to take this. Either way, respectable nano. Actually, I don't really understand it, but no problem. So a better time for nano would be the next time that they try to engage on you. So, especially when you're nanoing Brig and stuff like that. Let's see. So right now you're standing in the middle of the open. Um, have to be careful because their positioning is a little weird. If you do want to play somewhere with safety, you should try playing with your Junkrat back here in jail. It's usually like sharing a room with him is really helpful instead of playing super close and being diveable. Let's see, unlucky. The fight just turns out bad. So yeah, a lot of your Ana gameplay, or a lot of Ana gameplay is mostly just setting up from a good position and then playing that position well. So that means like, I think a better position here is either playing from this left window or trying to stay far back and play from bus here. Or play from this like trail or whatever. Just because you can see this nice long sight line and your team really doesn't want to move up too far yet. That's just me though, that's just nitpicking. But yeah, picking a position and then using it. So making sure that you're not in enemy line of sight, you can hug here, you can watch flanks I guess from there, but mostly you're going to be healing and keeping your team up. Something I don't see, something I don't see too much from you is taking shots at the enemy for damage, and that's also something I don't do enough. But Ana does some pretty good damage, so you might consider trying to shoot the enemy sometimes if they're if you have like no one else to shoot. Yeah, let's see. Another little tidbit of information for you is considering the health pool of your teammates. So making sure whatchamacallit, you know that like Brig has 250 HP and 50 of that is armor. You have 200 HP, but Kriya has 200 HP. Your tanks have upwards of like 400 and 500 HP. So, what does that mean? That means that your tanks will live longer, naturally, than the rest of your team. So, if you have to prioritize somebody, always make sure that DPS are towards the top, or your squishies, kind of like yourself, are towards the top of your little healing list there. Like, obviously keep the tanks up, but be sure to throw a shot in there too for your DPS, just because they go down so easily. And there's really no need to nade yet, because nobody was in super big danger. Like, let's see, Kaiju could use a nade right now, because he's in danger. The nade could also clear mines for his exit. Splat could use that now, but instead we nano him. And I think maybe it's just me, but because they're a dive comp and they don't have a diva, I think it would be really good to save up for a nano visor. Like granted you'll have it in a little bit, but nano visor is a much better ultimate I think for this point. So yeah, something else I know that you don't do as much as I'd like you to is call for healing. Like, whatever key you have, like, I need healing bound to, really smash that because Kaiju needs to work on awareness and stuff like that. And I mean, like, everybody at this rank needs to work on awareness and trying to keep the team in vision in their mind, you know? Like, team first, me second a lot of the time. But, a way you can help everybody, including yourself, and helping yourself live longer, is by smashing that I need healing button or calling it in voice chat. Let's see. You're probably busy doing something right now, but I'd like it if you rotated and found a new position. So at least set yourself up in a new position before we AFK. So yeah, like this is pretty good. Nice sleep on the monkey. Pretty decent anti. The only problem is now that's your entire kit. So now, like as Ana, that's both of your cooldowns. You have to wait 8 seconds until you have them both back up again. So, nice shots. Look at these. Look at those heal shots. Look at that. That's really nice. So yeah, using friendly nade or using nade like for friendlies is really good with Kaiju around because his inspire on Brig is like his passive. So whenever he hits people, one for whip shot and one charge for whip shot, one charge for hitting somebody normally. He does an AoE heal around him. So you're enhancing his passive heals, which really helps in these fights. So, nice job not panicking. Nice damage shot. So that's a great nade. We're all feeling groovy now. Uh, Unlucky. Not unlucky. Just not a great nano. Who's like he really supposed to swing on? It's not like anyone was in danger either. So yeah, be mindful of your nanos. Like, do it when you see the red people. Like, or when you see the red team. Like, when you see the red team and Rectangle Man could use a boost, you think, like, save it for them. Or when somebody is in immediate danger and you feel like you can't lose them. Let's see, ooh, we're holding close here. But I don't know if it's great into this comp. Yes, so Genji gets a no-show. Oh, unlucky. Let's see. Yeah, I do like mixing up your positioning there because as you saw, the Genji came into your back and only had a McCree to go for. He didn't know where you were, which is a really cool sort of dynamic. So yeah, like this is pretty good. You're doing really well. Again, I just think getting into helping yourself by being more greedy. I like your use of self nades. Definitely call for healing more. Kaiju does need to be with you more, especially in these dive comps. Um, and yeah, positioning is really big for you. And one thing that I said in Kaiju's review that I'm going to say in yours again is a habit that you can get into. So instead of trying to do the mental math and all this overtime work to like make sure, oh, well, do I have a good position? You know, can I really heal my team? Where can we rotate? Blah, 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 blah. Instead, ask your team as we're approaching or as we're getting ready to go and take a fight or to try to go on the point and engage and stuff like that. Ask your team, where are we going? And hopefully somebody will have an answer for you. Just so that you can hear in words where they're going to go, where they're going to play, and where you can set up. Yeah, I don't like standing in the middle of the lane here, especially when there's a Junkrat involved. This guy needs to be pressing, I need healing, otherwise he's not going to get anything. Yeah, so right now you're doing the thing, you're standing in the middle of the lane again. Unfortunately, you have to commit to this position. Or once you sort of take one, especially as Ana, once you take a position and you're trying to like standing near this corner, like you have to try and hold it more. Because this is a pretty powerful corner. You have your new position. And Ana, unfortunately, isn't Lucio. She's not very mobile. She can't go here or there. And so she's really slow too. Like now that you're in front of 4 members of the enemy team, it gets very dangerous for you to make this rotation back for your team. So instead, you should either commit to trying to stay on this side of choke or to stay in this corner. I would have liked to see you stay in this corner, but that's just me. Fortunately, they let you make the rotation very safely. So yeah, if it's hard to focus on Zen, a lot of the time it's because you're focusing on like parts of like that cycle. or like I just really want to get you sort of thinking while you're playing and prioritizing things. Like if Sombra appears, like I say screw her. Like she's gonna get ult charge, she's gonna disappear in 2 seconds because our McCree's going to land shots on her. Too bad. I don't even need to waste my time looking at her half the time because I have a front line to heal, you know? I got mouths to feed. Like that's totally her thing. So let's see. Overall pretty good so far, no complaints. Yeah, I like this. So how we're gonna play this is you're probably gonna be the person to watch cart the most. You can take cover behind cart, which is super helpful. You can jump on cart. Guess that's also helpful. Let's see, we have nano, so who are you gonna look to use it on? Ooh, nice anti. Yeah, we over-ulted here. I do like the nano on the Zarya though, because you guys are gonna build grab a lot faster now. Yeah, nice job. You see like how you're like controlling this right now? This is good. Like when you have your position figured out, like obviously your position is mostly generally staying on cart here. And when you have your position sort of figured out for you, or when you figured it out already, you do really, really, really well. Really well.
This is gonna make you feel better.
See, I see you going for that nade spot. I was just about to suggest it. So yeah, a good nade spot in here is doing it on the door, like above the door line in the entryway and above Rhine Shield. It tilts people, or above most like doorways. See, Kaiju almost dies. We're sort of still standing in the open here. I would like to see us holding closer left side here. This is because we can take cover behind whatever this stuff is. We can peek jail and heal Kaiju if we need. And everybody's like a stone's throw away. Like we don't want to, so like on Ana, everybody wants to kill you. I want to kill you. No, just kidding. But because everybody wants you so badly, you have to become sort of very aware of your positioning and try and elongate your life. So playing in these positions where you're behind cover, where you can dodge bullets and stuff like that, and not playing out in the open is really, really important. See, just because you live longer, you provide more value for your team. Oh god, she's got eyes for you. Nice sleep dart. Even though I don't think it was intentional, you didn't care about her, or you didn't give her the time of day, which I think is funny. Feels so bad when you want to get somebody's attention on a hero and they just ignore you and kill you instantly. Oh, I'm getting really hungry. I gotta eat sometime soon. Let's see. So here, I think a good position for you is even behind here. You can rotate if you need to, if you absolutely need to get this health pack. And what should we call it? This is just a bit safer, I think. Nice shots there. I would actually go for your Zarya. Zarya doesn't have a big shield in front of her, and she's about to die. Ryan does have a big shield in front of him, and because you had your nade here, you could have naded and healed him up. So Zarya first because she doesn't have a shield, then nade and heal your Reinhardt, and suddenly you've got a full tank line again. It's unlucky. And I don't think there was more I really had to touch on here. I really liked your Gibraltar Brig play. I thought that was pretty good. If you want to learn some Brig tips and some main support sort of things. So I think it's really useful for you guys to learn each other's sort of play styles and the roles, like how your roles interact. because it helps you guys know more about each other, even without having to discuss it or talk about it.
Never stop fighting.
So
for
yeah,
what you
whatchamacallit,
believe in.
what's I gonna say? Yeah, watching his review for Brig, it's also really good to make sure that you are, like, you are the main healer for the team so much time on Ana, and as such, you're forced to look at your teammates to heal them and stuff
I
like
will
that.
keep you here.
Because you're forced to heal them, like, to look at them, you naturally have a lot of information about the team fight, which is super, super good.
Watching your back.
But awareness is really big on support. So I think my next steps are being a bit more greedy. So when you're damaged and stuff like that, I don't think I have it bound. Yeah.
Need healing. I need healing.
So
Need
yeah,
healing.
calling that you need healing, because it will bring kaiju to you and to the team, consequently. I want to see some. Unfortunately, that wasn't a great map for nano usage. I don't know if it got better throughout the whole scrim. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but
You're going to live. You're powered
knowing
up. Get
sort
in
of
there.
having an idea of who to nano before you go in, and generally like approaching the fight with a plan. Like you gotta be clever on it. You gotta be sneaky, cause you're an old woman, with a dart gun and like a few chemicals that are probably not government approved. Um, like what does that even mean, right? Like you're very vulnerable. Like watch how many seconds it takes me to cross this choke in front of this guy. Let's see, it's 1, 2, like about 2 seconds of exposure. That's 2 seconds you could have killed me in. Like, you have to be clever. You have to come up with these weird positions and stuff like that. And be aware.
Watching your back.
So being aware of the enemy on Ana is really, really important. Knowing where they are, what they're doing,
Consciously.
and having a plan even as you approach from like spawn. Like in between fights and stuff like that, knowing or thinking of what to do and where you can go when maybe the Genji dives you, like on Eichenwald,
You
or
look tired.
this or that, and when these situations happen. Like, you have to identify who's probably going to kill you. Your Genjis, your Doomfists, your Winstons who are going to dive you with their team. Like, knowing who's going to kill you is really, really important. And coming up with a plan to save yourself and your team.
Get in there.
So yeah, definitely really important stuff. Yeah, again, scoping in is really helpful, but unfortunately I don't have a great view, a great field of vision when I scope in. It's kind of restricted. When I'm unscoped, however, I see my full screen. And when I'm not focused on my crosshair, I can tell you that there's 5 enemies on my screen right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and well, 6. Hello there.
Is there yet?
So yeah, using unscoped shots gives you a better field of view, and you can see the fight better. I want you to practice looking away from your crosshair more and using your eyes to look at the fight more. I also want you to always stay moving. These are probably going to be definitely your next things. Being more selfish,
I need healing. Walk it off.
whatchamacallit, living as long as you can, positioning more, using more unscoped shots, and looking at the fight, really looking out of the corners of your eyes. Like, can you see that friendly bot up there? Right now, no. He just rotated out. But like, let's see. He should be up there sometime. Yeah, there he is. So the friendly bot's back. He's at the top of the screen. So be a chameleon. Move your eyes, you know? Really got to get into the habit of being super aware of who can kill you. Because if this is like, I don't know, that little castle on the second point of Eichenwald, all the Genjis, all the Doomfists are trying to watch me from up there. I know they're there. So I don't even have to check, usually a lot of the time, because I can either listen for it, or I can check it with my eyes check it with my eyes as I'm like trying to heal my team or whatever up front, you know? So using your field of vision is really, really important. I think those are your next steps. Pebs. See, but in general, yeah, off support is mechanically demanding. You have to focus on positioning yourself hitting your shots, because if you're just doing this, like, what good are you? What good are you, unfortunately, to your team? Um, yeah, you have to focus on rotating, doing your thing, positioning well, knowing where the enemies are. It can be a lot to take in at times, but rest assured, I really trust you. You guys are already developing. Pebs are like, you're developing into such a great off support since the first time I coached you. It's just incredible. Like, I'm very, I'm very happy for you that you're doing so well. But yeah,
Double kill.
like it's all about self-preservation, making sure you live, because you're really, really important. Just like everybody else on the team, but you know, a little bit more. And making sure that you live and juice value out of your healings and stuff like that.
Double kill.
I will prove myself.
Let's see. Even a Moira.
Science will reveal the truth. Strength flows from you.
Then later, as we continue, we can start talking a little bit more about like game sense and cooldowns and stuff like that. Stuff that I'm having to relearn for myself, actually,
My will made real.
which is really cool. And that disappears fast. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna finish it off there. Thanks so much for watching. Definitely let me know if you have any questions. But yeah, considering positioning, always giving yourself alternatives. I mean, at this point, I don't want to really give you set positions or rotations or something. I kind of want you to eyeball it, or to follow your heart and see where you want to go next, where you want to go as a player. So yeah, that said, just 2 hours till my fusion camp. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Um, I'll probably have a lot of good tips to offer there too, or from there too. So I'll be waking up and getting myself ready. And yeah, enjoy your day watching this.